The skies over Earth burned crimson as the remnants of Frieza's army fled in terror, their golden emperor standing defiant amidst the chaos. Frieza, now clad in his shimmering golden form, smirked as he surveyed the devastation, his tail flicking with sadistic amusement. "How delightful," he purred, his voice dripping with malice. The mighty scions, reduced to scrambling like insects. Across the battlefield, Vegeta wiped blood from his lip, his breathing ragged but his eyes blazing with unyielding pride. For weeks, Frieza had been amassing power, his golden evolution surpassing even the might of Super Saiyan Blue. The Z fighters had fought valiantly, but each battle ended in retreat, their strongest attacks barely scratching the tyrant's polished exterior. Goku, though relentless, had been pushed to his limits, his body battered from countless clashes. But Vegeta refused to accept defeat. Pride demanded more. Deep in the cosmos, within the sacred realm of the gods of destruction, Vegeta knelt before the feline deity Beerus, his fists clenched. "Train me," he demanded, his voice raw with determination. Beerus, lounging on his throne, cracked an eye open, unimpressed. "And why should I waste my time on a Saiyan who still clings to his arrogance?" Vegeta didn't flinch. "Because I will surpass Kakarot. Because I will erase Frieza's existence from this universe." A slow smirk curled Beerus's lips. "Prove it." The training was brutal. Beerus unleashed techniques that warped reality itself, his Hakai energy reducing planets to dust with a mere flick of his wrist. Vegeta endured, his body breaking and reforging under the weight of divine power. Whis observed silently, his staff tapping the void as he noted the prince's progress. "His will is unshakable," Whis mused. "But will it be enough?" Back on Earth, Frieza's laughter echoed as he toyed with Goku, swatting away his Kamehameha with a backhand. "Really, Kakarot? Is this all you have?" Goku gritted his teeth, his aura flickering. He needed a new strategy, but time was running out. Just as Frieza raised a hand to deliver the final blow, the sky split open with a thunderous crack. A vortex of violet energy erupted, and from its depths descended Vegeta, but this was no ordinary Saiyan. His form radiated an aura of annihilation, his eyes gleaming with an eerie purple hue. Frieza's smirk faltered. "What is this?" Vegeta didn't answer. Instead, he vanished, reappearing inches from Frieza's face before driving a fist into his gut with enough force to warp space itself. The impact sent Frieza hurtling through mountains, his golden form flickering from the sheer brutality of the strike. Goku gaped. "Vegeta! What did you do?" Vegeta flexed his fingers, his new power humming through his veins. "I embrace destruction." Frieza emerged from the rubble, his pristine armor shattered, his face contorted in rage. "Impossible!" he shrieked, firing a barrage of death beams. Vegeta didn't dodge. Instead, his body absorbed the attacks, the energy dissolving into nothingness. With a single step, he closed the distance, his palm pressing against Frieza's chest. "Hakai," he whispered. The world trembled as Frieza's golden form began to disintegrate, his screams echoing across the battlefield. But just as the erasure neared completion, Frieza's eyes widened with realization. No. No. With a desperate surge of energy, he tore himself free, his body barely intact. He panted, his once proud demeanor shattered. "This isn't over," he spat before vanishing in a streak of light. Vegeta's transformation faded, his breathing heavy. Goku approached, his expression a mix of awe and concern. You trained with Beerus?" Vegeta smirked. "TCH. About time I surpassed you, Kakarot." But the victory was short-lived. Whis materialized beside them, his usual calm replaced with urgency. "A storm is coming," he warned. "Frieza's retreat is not surrender. And there are darker forces stirring in the cosmos." The stage was set. The Prince of Scions had ascended to new heights, but the true battle had only just begun. The air crackled with tension as Golden Frieza hovered high above the battlefield, his cruel smirk twisting into a sneer. "You've grown bold, Vegeta," he taunted, flexing his golden claws. "But arrogance won't save you from annihilation." Below him, Vegeta stood firm, his aura flaring violently as dark energy twisted around him, his new form, the Destroyer's mantle, radiating power that warped space itself. "You talk too much, Frieza," Vegeta growled, his voice deeper, laced with the raw authority of a god. "Let's see if your shiny new form can back up that mouth." Without warning, Frieza lunged, crossing the distance in a blink, his fist aimed for Vegeta's throat. But Vegeta was faster, his body moved instinctively, sidestepping with a burst of speed before countering with a devastating elbow to Frieza's spine. The tyrant grunted, skidding across the ground, but he recovered instantly, retaliating with a barrage of golden death beams. Vegeta deflected them with precise ki blasts, each collision shaking the earth. The battle escalated in a blur of motion. Frieza teleported behind Vegeta, swinging his tail like a whip, but Vegeta twisted midair, catching it and slamming Frieza into the ground. The impact sent shockwaves rippling outward, cratering the battlefield. Frieza snarled, his golden form flickering as he unleashed a point-blank supernova. Vegeta crossed his arms, and during the explosion, his destroyer energy dispersing the flames like a storm parting before him. "You're still holding back," Vegeta taunted, wiping blood from his lip. "Pathetic." Frieza's eye twitched. "You dare mock me?" His power surged, his muscles bulging as he tapped deeper into his golden form. "Fine. Let's see how you handle this." His body vanished, reappearing in a flurry of strikes, each punch faster than light, each kick carrying the force of a collapsing star. Vegeta blocked most, but a few slipped through, rattling his bones. Gritting his teeth, Vegeta tapped into his training with Beerus, recalling the Whisper of Destruction, a technique that let him phase through attacks by bending reality itself. Frieza's next punch phased through Vegeta's chest, leaving him wide open. Vegeta seized the moment, driving his fist into Frieza's gut, then following up with a point-blank gamma burst flash. The beam engulfed Frieza, sending him screaming into the sky. But Frieza wasn't done. He stabilized midair, his laughter turning manic. "You insect." His body pulsed, his golden form intensifying until his skin shimmered like molten metal. "I'll erase you from existence." He fired a black death ball, an orb of condensed malice, straight at Vegeta. The prince smirked. Predictable. Clasping his hands together, he summoned a Hakai sphere, the divine energy of destruction, and hurled it forward. The two attacks collided, reality itself buckling under the strain. The explosion blinded the planet. When the smoke cleared, both warriors stood panting, their forms flickering with exhaustion. Frieza's golden sheen dimmed, his breathing ragged. Vegeta's destroyer aura wavered, but his resolve didn't. "Last chance, Frieza," Vegeta spat. "Surrender, or be erased." Frieza's lips curled into a snarl. "Never." With a final roar, they charged. Frieza's claws raked toward Vegeta's throat, but Vegeta ducked, driving his knee into Frieza's ribs before flipping him overhead and slamming him into the earth. Before Frieza could react, Vegeta's palm pressed against his chest. "Hakai!" A pulse of dark energy surged, Frieza's eyes widened in terror as his body began to dissolve. "And no. This isn't." His scream was cut short as his form vanished into nothingness. Silence fell. Vegeta staggered, his power receding. He'd done it. But as he turned, a shadow loomed, a new threat emerging from the smoke. The real battle was only beginning. The air crackled with energy as Golden Frieza hovered above the shattered battlefield, his laughter dripping with malice. "You really thought you could stand against me, Vegeta? Even with your little godly tricks?" His fists clenched, golden aura flaring like a supernova. Below, Vegeta staggered to his feet, his body bruised but his eyes burning with unyielding resolve. The dust swirled around him as he wiped blood from his lip, his breathing ragged but steady. "You talk too much, Frieza," he growled. "This ends now." The moment stretched, an eternity in a heartbeat, before Vegeta exploded forward, his form blurring into a streak of violet and blue. Frieza barely had time to react before Vegeta's fist connected with his jaw, sending him crashing through a mountain. Rocks shattered like glass, but Frieza emerged unscathed, his grin widening. "Is that all?" he taunted, before retaliating with a volley of death beams. Vegeta weaved through them, each near miss singing his armor, his instincts honed by years of battle. Then, with a roar, Vegeta unleashed his full power. His aura erupted, transforming into the destructive purple haze of his new form, the power of a god of destruction. The ground beneath him disintegrated, the sheer force of his energy warping reality itself. Frieza's smirk faltered, his golden eyes widening in disbelief. "Impossible," he spat. But Vegeta didn't give him time to process. In an instant, he was upon Frieza, his fists a storm of obliteration. Each strike carried the weight of a collapsing star, driving Frieza back, his golden armor cracking under the onslaught. Frieza screamed in fury, summoning his own full power. "You won't humiliate me again." He retaliated with a massive energy sphere, hurling it at Vegeta. The prince didn't dodge, instead, he caught it in his palm, his fingers tightening until the sphere imploded. The shockwave sent Frieza reeling, his confidence shattering. "How?" he shrieked. Vegeta's voice was cold, final. "Because this time, I'm not fighting for pride. I'm fighting for what's right." With a final, earth-shattering punch, he drove his fist through Frieza's chest. The tyrant gasped, his golden form flickering, his body convulsing. No. This can't be. He choked out. Then, with a final burst of energy, Vegeta unleashed a point-blank God of Destruction blast, reducing Frieza to nothingness. Silence fell. The wind carried away the remnants of the battle as Vegeta's form reverted, his body trembling from exhaustion. Goku appeared at his side, a grin spreading across his face. "Guess you didn't need my help after all," he teased. Vegeta huffed, but there was no malice in it. TCH. Don't get used to it. In the aftermath, the universe exhaled. Frieza's tyranny was truly over, and the balance of power had shifted. Whis observed from afar, nodding in approval. "It seems Lord Beerus chose well," he mused. Meanwhile, on Earth, the others celebrated, but Vegeta stood apart, gazing at the stars. He had finally surpassed his limits, not just in power, but in purpose. The future was uncertain, but for the first time, he was ready for it.